Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I'm gonna review Kamen Rider Black, or as they say in Japan, Kamen Rider Buraku. Now, this is the eighth Kamen Rider series, and it aired from 1987 to 1988, and it consists of 51 episodes. Now, the first episode begins with this guy being chased around Tokyo by these three figures in white robes and white hoods. I mean, yes, and well, these figures are part of an evil organization called Gorgon. Now, there are three uh, of them, the figures in well, they're the high priest of Gorgon or Daishiken, which I think is how you say high priest in Japanese. And well, they are Darum, who wears a white mask, Borum, who wears a green mask, and Bishum, who wears a cedar mask. Also, Bishum is the only female out of the three. Now, the guy they're chasing, well, his name is Minami Kotaro. And then eventually they captured him and brought him back to their base. And there was another guy over there already who's also been captured. And well, the guy's name is the other one, his name is Akisuki. I mean Akisuki Nobiko. And well, they were about to be remodeled into cyborgs because well, Gorgon is ruled by this being called the Creation Kingu. I mean, well, that's how I'm pronouncing it. Since I've been watching like Japanese shows lately. But anyway, yes, you see, they wanted to turn Kodoro and Nobiku into this thing. These things called Buraku-san and Shadow Moon. So they can fight each other and become, and whoever wins becomes the next Creation Kingu. Now, the process of remodeling, yeah, Kodoro's body has completed. However, before they could erase his mind, well, Kodoro escaped. Like he went, got himself caught to some kind of a wall, and then he came out in a new form, which looks like a Kamen Rider. And well, the Taishinken, they called him Buraku-san, and they thought he was ready to serve Gorgon. However, Kodoro and his Buraku form, I mean his Buraku-san form, he managed, he started to fight the Taishiken as well as Gorgon's other minions, and then he escaped on this motorcycle called Buratu Hopper. And unlike most of the motorcycles that was used by um, the other Kamen Riders before, yeah, Buratu Hopper has like a something that looks like the head of a grasshopper in the front. Eventually, Kotaro he escaped from Gorgon, and instead of calling himself Rakusan, he took on the name Kamen Rider Black. Now, see, and eventually, well, about Gorgam, well, their goal is to destroy all of humanity. And for those who don't want to die, well, just like in other Kamen Rider series that I saw before, the monsters are called kaijin. Of course, according to the subtitles I read, it was a mutant, but I'm gonna say kaijin since that's what they said in the original Japanese language. Now, yes, well, for the humans who want to keep on living, they have to willingly have have to go through the process of turning into kaijin. And the reason is because, well, the Gorgam gaijin, they live are able to live to be 50,000 years old. And well, the humans who work for Gorgam, well, that's what they want in return. However, in order to go through the process, they must first willingly give up their humanity. So that's the price for becoming gaijin. Now, back to Kodoro. I don't know if it was the first or second episode, but well, he met up with his father. Uh, yes, Yoshi. I forgot his name, but yes, he met up with his father, and then told he told Goldoro all about the Gorga man. What happened, what he been through, what he did, and well, it turns out that Goldoro was adopted, and that his biological parents were friends with his father, and he was born on the same time as Nobiko, who was the biological son of the man who Kodoro grew up as father. And both, well, after Kodoro's parents died, as back when he was still a baby, well, Kodoro was up. So Mr. Minami adopted Kodoro, and both he and Nobigu were raised as brothers. And then, on their 19th birthday, well, first thing is that once both Nobiko and Kodoro were born, well, it turns out that they were born under a solar eclipse. And that's why Gorgam chose those two to become Broku-san and Shadow Moon. And I think with the second episode, they revealed that, the events that led to Kodoro and Nobiko being captured in the first was because, it started on their 19th birthday. And after the party they had, celebrating it, well, there was some kind of attack, and eventually both Gorgam captured Nobiko and Kodoro. And once Kodoro heard everything about what his father told him about Gorgam, that's when he decided to take the name Kamen Rider Black. And and that began his quest to his mission to fight Gorgam until the very end. You know, other characters we meet. Well, first we have Akisuki Kyoko, who's Kodoro's younger biological sister, and no, Nobiko's biological sister, and Kodoro's sister by adoption. And another ally we meet was Kita Katsumi, who was Nobiko's girlfriend. let's see this. No, and do some yes, and well, Raku he fought other guys on the way, and some things were revealed in the series. For one thing, Raku's motorcycle, Burado Hopper, turns out to be a living machine. There was even one episode that will show Burado Hopper's being injured. However, he healed himself. In oh yes, and after some episodes, we meet a new villain who's called Rungia. He's some kind of like some guy with a white face, and he has like a he wears this purple armor, and he was well he wanted to become the next creation Kingu, and like Kotaro and Nobiko, he was also born under a solar eclipse. However, he was ejected by the creation Kingu and was put in a coffin for 30,000 years. But eventually he got out of it, and that's when Ibichin started his quest to destroy the Kamen Rider Buraku, and he becomes the next creation Kingu. Now there was another episode where well, there was this thing called Rodo Sector, and it was a motorcycle, and originally Gorgam recruited the scientists in order to use it for evil. However, the scientists decided to reject Gorgam and wanted Braku to use it to help defeat Gorgam. And he managed to get control of it, and so now Kodoro has two motorcycles. I mean, yeah, Boraku has, sorry, my mistake. Yes, and now there were some episodes involving Katsumi and Kodoro in danger, and then there was one episode that, well, I forgot who it was, but it's supposed to help Goguram complete the process of turning Nobiko into Shadow Moon. And finally, the process was complete, and unlike Kodoro, he did not escape. So he lost his, in a way, kind of lost his humanity and became evil. And his new form is, well, it's like a Kamen Rider, but it's mostly silver, really nice. Oh, and I forgot to mention Burako's Kamen Rider form, sorry. Well, oh yeah, well, before that, I should talk about the Henshin sequence. And well, for Kamen Rider Raku's Henshin sequence, well, it's like this. Henshin! And that's how he henshins into Kamen Rider Raku. Now, and his appearance is, well, like in the show title, his Kamen Rider form is like all black with some kind of yellow stripes, um, red eyes on the head part, and antennas. Yes. So anyway, back to Shadow Moon. Yeah, see that well, once he appeared, one of the things he did was um, well, to well, he fought Perungia, Perungia, and eventually he defeated Perungia, and Perungia was killed, and that was the and there was one obstacle out of Shadow Moon's way. Oh, and also how he became in how Shadow Moon came to be. I forgot to mention that well, the creation Kingu told the Taishiken to give up the stones they have in these special stones, the ocean stone, the heaven stone, and earth stone, and they did it, and that's how um, Shadow Moon, Shadow Moon came to be. It also has some kind of side effect as well. You see, no, no, not side effect. Yes. No, anyway, after Shadow Moon defeated Berunkia, he offered the Daihigen some new powers, but in order to do that, those three need to become Kaijin. And so they agreed to the process, and the Daishinken became the Daikaijun, which means great mutants. Or it's a yes. No, for for Torum, he turned into a some kind of trilobite kaijin. For Ballroom, he turned into some kind of saber-tooth tiger kaijin, and for Bishum, she turned into some kind of tactical kaijin or pterosaur, however you want to say it. And they didn't perform for the rest of their time in the series. Uh, so there was an episode where we meet new allies called the Shonen Senshi. And these are, well, kids, but in a way, not kids. To explain it, as children, they would captured by Gorgon to go through this process and do these are kind of warriors. However, yeah, and one purpose was to prevent them from aging. So they they still look the way they did as we as children. So they never grew up. At least the bodies didn't. They just stayed in their child forms, and they probably be like that for the rest of their lives. Now, eventually, both Kyoko and Katsumi learned about Kamen Rider's Buraku's identity, and now they know that about Kodoro being human form. Not only that, but they also learned about Nobigo turning into Shadow Moon, and well, he still remembers his sister and girlfriend, and well, he offered them an opportunity to not to be safe as long as they join Gorgon, but they refuse. So Shadow Moon decided to not if, but if they're not gonna go along with it, then they might as well be destroyed with the rest of the human race. But he didn't decide immediately. He decided to, wait another time. And also, he decided for Gorgon to be announced to the world. And he started with Japan. And he sent a part of Kaijins all over to attack people. And then Kodoro, as Buraku, he started to fight at the moon. And, well, there was start of episodes having battles between Kamen Rider Buraku and Shadow Moon. Now, and oh yes, and then we get to some the last few episodes, and well, it features the destruction of the of the Daikaiju, and yes, and well, the first one to go was Bishu, and the next up was Barum, who wanted to avenge Bishu, and the only left Darum, the last one. And then Shadow Moon, in one of the last few episodes, Shadow Moon decided to, well, he told the people of Tokyo that he will not let the sun touch Tokyo. I mean, he let he refused to let it daylight on Tokyo unless Kamen Rider comes to fight him. And it caused a bunch of panic. But not everybody was panicking. There were those who were fighting back. And that includes the Shonen Senshi. And then came was supposed to be the ultimate battle between Kamen Rider Braku and Shadow Moon. And let's see, yes, and they started to fight each other. Also, Kyoko and Katsumi, they were there. I don't know, maybe they were captured or they were following, but anyway, it's supposed to be was going to be the last battle between the between Kodoro and Lubiku. Now and then there was a time when well Shadow Moon turned back into Nobiko for a short moment. However, he went back to his Shadow Moon form again. And then they fought, and then eventually put the lay down, and well, then the voice of the Christian King told Shadow Moon to finish uh, finish off Buraku and take out the King Stone from his body. But he said that no, that he can beat the next Christian King without killing Kodoro. And then he left. And then Kyoko and Katsumi came out to Buraku's body, and well, Buraku told him to he told them to leave Japan because if he dies or Shine, then there will be nobody left to protect Japan, and they must, and both Katsumi and Kyoko must be as far away as possible so they can be safe. And well, Kyoko was reluctant, but decided to honor Kodoro's request. So they got ready to leave. Then eventually, I think it was another battle where, well, oh yes, where Braku and Shadow Moon fought again. But before that happened, well, you see, there was a in one of the last few episodes. Um, well, this was this whale kaijin that overheard Korkon's plans to pollute the oceans. And even though he worked for Korkon, he couldn't stand having the oceans be polluted. So he betrayed Korgon. And then during the battle between another battle between Shadow Moon and Kamen Rider Buraku, well, Kaijin did his part to help defeat them, and well, eventually Shadow Moon. Oh no, I think it was between Buraku and Darum. I forgot which one it was, but yes, well, Kaijin was injured, and well, eventually the Shadow. I mean, Kamen Rider Buraku well brought the world guy to the ocean so he can be saved. And he thanked Buraku for the help and went away. And then came another battle. I think maybe it was between Buraku and Darum, and they were fighting, and then or maybe it was between Hanamut, but either way, yeah, and I think it was between Shadow Moon. Well, anyway, they fought each other, and then eventually, Kamen Rider's body was put in the ocean, floating around the ocean, and well, It looked like it was the end of him. However, in the next episode, well, before I get to it, well, in the next episode, there was they must have heard about the people must have heard about what happened with Kamen Rider, and then well, Kasumi and Kyoko were getting ready to leave. However, Kyoko didn't want to because she didn't want to leave Godoro behind. But Kasumi convinced that they should leave and honor Godoro's wishes. So this is when, however, when the guard were people attacking because they were in a panic, and then they had to escape. Fortunately, they found some people who could help them, and they went on a ship to America, and finally on the way to be far away from the danger as possible. Now, the next episode, well, Kamen Rider's body was somewhere in the ocean, and then the whale kaijin found his body, brought him to a cave, and performed some kind of a revival ceremony, and it brought Raku back again. So and he thanked the whale kaijin and was ready to fight for the final battle between him and Gorgon. And then eventually, whale kaijin was eventually found by Gorgon, and eventually, oh no, I think it was a battle between. He was around on the same battle between Ragu and Tarum, I think it was, and eventually Tarum, well, he killed the whale kaijin, because he was a traitor to Gorgon, and Tarum wanted to finish Kamen Rider as well. However, he couldn't stand Tarum living, and uh, so he decided to avenge the whale kaijin, for what Tarum did, and eventually Kamen Rider destroyed the turtle, and that was the last of the Daikaiji. I mean Daikaiju. Now, then Baraku went to the Gorgon headquarters. There was and he started to fight Shadow Moon in there. And then eventually, Shadow Moon was weakened and was told to fight. He was ordered by the Grecian king to finish Shadow Moon, but he refused to. And Shadow Moon, after knowing that, hearing that, eventually Shadow Moon gave Kamen Rider Black his saber. Oh, and also, yes, I guess, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that in a previous episode, it was revealed that the Grecian Kingu is actually this this giant alien heart that can fly around, and revealed that every 50,000 years, but he revealed every, and then he told, and when Kamen Rider Furaku met up with the Grecian Kingu, well, he, oh yes, yes, well, the Grecian Kingu told Furaku that every 50,000 years, a new Grecian Kingu is available, goes around, and since his 50,000 years was almost up, he needed a successor. And he wanted Furaku to become to take his place, but he refused, and then used his used a saber that Shadow Moon gave him and destroyed the giant alien heart. But the creature concludes that he'll be back, and then the Gorgon space was destroyed. Managed, fortunately, Furaku managed to escape. Oh, and also Shadow Moon also did die as well. And then that was the end of Gorgon. And then during that episode, well, the last part of the episode was revealed that it's been raining for many days in Japan for some time, and then eventually the sun came back, and well, Kotaro went to that hangar where he Katsumi Yuki, I mean Kyoko would hang out, and then he was looking a photo of him, Kyoko, Katsumi, and Nupiko. I mean, yes, and he was remembering, everything he's been through, the good and the bad. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Kyoko and Katsumi had been they moved to San Francisco, and when they heard about, and this was before the final battle, and well, Kyoko wanted to return, but Katsumi convinced her, they shouldn't go in case, yeah, so they cannot get in the way. Yes, well, so anyway, back to Kodoro. Yes, he was me- remembering, his adventures, and well, decided to move on. And I think and also because since his friends are gone, with his brother being dead and his sister and brother's girlfriend being living in another country now, and then oh yeah, forgot to mention, keep forgetting stuff. And yes, forgot to mention that before the well, in one of the final battles between Shadow Moon Baraku, but Baturo Hoppa, well, he was being controlled by Shadow Moon, and eventually Kamen Rider Baraku, he managed to free Battle Hopper's Shadow Moon's control, and eventually Brother Hopper sacrificed himself to save Baraku. However, yes, and unlike the last time he was damaged, there was no healing, so uh, that was the end of Brother Hopper. Now back to Kotaro. Well, after he finished reflecting now of the he'd been through, he went onto his motorcycle, and the narrator said that as long as there is, or maybe it was Kotaro who said it, his mind, but where it was like that Kotaro will fight. I mean, as long as there is evil, Kotaro will fight. So continue fighting. And that was the end of Kamen Rider Raku. Now, what I think of this series, I think I liked it a little bit better than the other Kamen Rider series I have seen so far. I mean, and it's a bit more dark than the previous one. I mean, not too dark. Yes, I guess you could call it a highlight 7 or something like that. I don't know, but if you are a parent, then well, well, for whether it's right for children to watch the series or not, I think I could say, the best thing I could say is that if you are a parent, then I think it's best that you watch the whole series yourself, and then you can decide whether to let your children watch it or not. So that decision will be up to you. So yes, and like I said before, yeah, I like it more better, and yeah, it's a bit more epic than the previous ones. Oh, and only that, but there was also like a special episode, but it was more of a review of all the Kamen Riders that came before, and it introduced the one, the comes after this one. So yes, I think that's all I can say about Kamen Rider Braco in this video. And also, please subscribe. Please subscribe to mention. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Yes, even though no, well, I can't really say that I'm a fan of the Kamen Rider franchise, at least yet. However, I do like this series a bit more than the other ones. So yeah, I guess that's all I can say about Kamen Rider series in this video. And also, please subscribe to my channel because it will help me a lot. And also, please share this video on social media like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. So that's it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.